Hi, this is MFerguson for MIS325 doing assignment 6. So just start from the top here. Let's see, so I already made my Power BIs. Let's go ahead and close that down. No, I don't need to save that. So let's see here. I pop it open in Power BI, but I'll just open it up in Visual Studio here. Makes the most sense. So I'll start with the Shopify database. Alright, so for my Shopify on the Power BI tab created here, so I actually have 10 charts for this one. So I'll go over this one first. So this one, I have it all organized here as well. So this one was product sales by console. I made separate tabs for each one. You know, you can go by movies. You can go by video games. These are the units sold. Some of the units sold. These are just product sales in general. See what's doing the best or not. And then this is just the state hierarchy. This is the map side of things. So just all the locations of where things were sold. Pretty much the same. It was kind of spread out all over the place there. Let's see, all over Washington here. So these are the locations that make up the 875. Those are all the locations for Washington. As you can see, I had the slicer up here. So even though I have different tabs, you could move between these just to find out the sum of the units between each of them. And that's it for that top portion. That focused more on sales. The bottom portion that I did is more focused on units. Let's see here. Fit that to page. Okay. So anyway, these are units by the day of week, units sold by day of week. I just tried to mix things up. There's no, looks like Mondays and Fridays are the highest days, but not a whole lot of metric to garner from this. You have your units by month. There's only 2 months that I had units being sold in. Those are the 2 months that we're doing the class. You could do units by the day of month. I did a line chart here just to mix things up. So this just shows you over time. In the middle of the month was a huge slump, and then it just kind of peaks towards the end, first, and then maybe after the 15th. I had the top 10 products by month with a legend, so it just shows you what month that they were purchased in. I'm not sure where the blank came from. That seems to be on all of them. But you can see most of the sales are done in September and then October. Not too far behind there. And then I also have a geographical location here. There was only two units. Everything else was bought in Washington. I had 2 California addresses on that. So that's why it gave me kind of a wide range there. So those are my 2. Try to mix up the charts. There's stack charts in there, bar charts in there. All right. And we'll go ahead and open up the Coug Hotel. Exact same thing over on the Coug Hotel side of things. We didn't have a Power BI, so I went and put a Power BI in here. Just added a viewpoint. It's pretty simple, just pretty much cut and paste. Well, let me see, get down to the... Well, you don't need to see the aspects code behind, but I just cut and pasted. Made another section here. Made another section up top for the button itself. Somewhere in here. Yeah, right here. Threw that in there. And then I made a code behind for it as well for the links. Just went and added this link. Power BI. So anyway. Alright, so now as you can see we have a Power BI tab in the hotel management system. I only did 5. Well, I did the 4 required and then an extra one. But I did 10 on the last one. So anyway, go ahead and fit that to screen. We'll pop this open. I have everything labeled. I got a little bit better with my labeling. You can't see the whole thing though. But anyway, this is a stacked column. This is a stacked column. This is a line chart. This is a bar, I believe a bar chart. And then this one would be a donut chart that you're looking at right now, but we'll go over them. So mainly I just did the revenue that each room type brought in. So you can see the premium brings in the most revenue, standard following that, and then the deluxe brings in the least revenue. So people are either, getting the budget or going all in between, not so much. All right, then we have the revenue by guest total. I just put this in descending order. And so it just tells you who's spending the most money here. Myself, I stayed at the Cook Hotel quite a bit. And then just descending. You can't see it here, but I did a top 10 for the filter by N, top 10. Obviously you can, I just threw in slicer charts here, so if you were looking at it on your own, you could switch around. It would help here. If you look at the month, since there's only, 3 months of data points here, it looks pretty crazy. It looks like a symbol almost. But you can see this is just revenue over time. People were getting deluxes and then it fell off because the class ended and I stopped adding them in. Didn't really need too much extra data for this. So you can see, kind of started up September, plummeted in October, and went back up in November, and then it hasn't been in action since then. So there's just the 3 for the slicer and then everything together. The guest stay frequency, this I just used like a stacked bar chart, and just to mix things up. So you can see I stayed a lot at 5, right here. I stayed more than any other guest aside from Mia Lopez. She stayed twice, and then everybody else has only stayed 1 time. So again, I did the top 10 just to keep the metrics down low, but most of the entries that I had went in only 1 time. And then finally what it opened with was the donut chart. And this is just a glance. It's actually the same information that you'd find in this chart here, the cluster chart, or the stacked cluster chart. Same information, the total revenue that each one would bring in, but just a different way to look at it with the legend, offering like color-coded options. So, same data. Deluxe was the lowest, followed by standard, and then premium was the highest that people were staying in. So that's it. I had about 15 total different charts. Tried to mess with a variety of them, maps and bar charts and stack charts, cluster charts. So that should satisfy the extra credit requirements. That should take care of everything. All right, thank you for watching.